Hello, family. It is Emily with Claim Brilliance, and today I want to talk about overeating. This can be a huge problem for some people. We talk about diet and exercise, and if we just did those things on a consistent basis, that we would get our goal when it comes to our healthy weight and our health and fitness and all of the things, right? But how many times do we do that and we show up for ourselves and then we have a terrible moment and we have some things happen, and what do we turn to? Typical things that we turn to, and what I'm going to address is overeating. Other things could be shopping, and Netflix binging, gaming, among other things. But for today, we're going to talk about those times when we overeat. So, why do we do that? Why do we go and we start out fantastic and we're doing the diet and we're doing the exercise program and we're killing it. And then one day we are just, even not even one day, one moment we're just like, nope. And we go to the cupboard and we look for all of the things that we have, and we just eat this and eat that and eat this and eat that. And we can't stop. We can't stop, right? And so that's what I want to talk about today is I'm going to give you a challenge that instead of going to food right away, I'm not saying you can't, but do this first. Ask yourself 2 questions. The first one is, what am I trying to hide? What emotions am I feeling? One lady called it a buffer. So what am I trying to feel that I don't want to feel? What am I trying to feel? Like a cup, you fill up a cup. What am I trying to feel that I don't want to feel? Like, what is that need? And if you don't know the need, then try journaling for 10 minutes, unfiltered. Get a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, or get out the Word doc, whatever it is, and just start writing out like da 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 da, and see if you can't figure out what it is that you're trying to fill that need. So is it stress? Is it boredom? Is it avoidance of something? A lot of times we fill the void by filling it with food. And so that's what we need to solve, right? Is we just don't overeat to overeat. Typically, there's an emotion involved, and what we need to do is figure out what that emotion is. Now, if it's stress and it's avoidance, then what is it that you're trying to avoid? And is avoiding that issue really as bad as what we think it's going to be? Most of the time, it's not. It's like jumping into cold water. The mental prep that you need and that we go through is way worse than actually jumping in to the cold water. We just did a cold plunge about a month ago. And so that's why that came to mind, just because we actually did that. But I find that when we actually start doing the thing that we are running from, that we don't actually need to go to the thing that we're trying to fill that void with, right? It's just the mental stuff that we have to get through. So journaling and then going back and reading. And a lot of times I talk about write and burns, and not to go there. Like, don't read what you wrote. But if you're having a hard time figuring out what you're trying to fill that need, and you don't know what that need is, journaling for 10 minutes unfiltered, and then going back and reading it and be like, oh, I am avoiding doing that thing for my job, or I'm avoiding making that phone call, or I'm feeling bored, or I need connection. Like, what is it that you are trying to fill that you're filling with food instead of filling the real need? All right. And then the second one, I took notes. So the second one that I want you to ask is, what am what am I trying to solve? And then, yeah, what are you trying to solve? And what is that need? Are you escaping? Sometimes it's not anything like that, but it's the fear of missing out. Are you afraid you're like gonna miss out? And sometimes that can be subconscious, right? Because we we if you've ever had an experience where you were young and you didn't have food, sometimes that those subconscious feelings and thoughts can dictate, oh, if I diet or I don't let myself have that, then I'm going to starve. I'm going to miss out. I'm not going to ever be able to get it again. And that's where we need to question, like, is that true? Or is that just how I'm feeling right now because of an experience when I was younger where I didn't have enough? And yeah, and then you can problem solve, right? So if you write it down and you find what you're trying to either avoid or fill, or you're stuffing yourself for a reason, find out what that reason is and then actually address that reason. So if you are avoiding because you need to connect with somebody, or you can't connect with somebody, say a breakup or something, or somebody passes away, then a lot of times we don't know how to solve that, right? Like, we don't know how to sit with that. And so journaling and like letting that emotion out on paper is a great tool that you can have, that you can use. So and this is on my mind because I have a client, a kind of client who contacted me today, and he was talking about his overeating. And as much as I'm like, I could give you all the tools that I have, the macronutrients and the calories and the building your plate and all of the outward diet, the band-aid, I like to call it the band-aid approach. Like, if you don't get to the root cause of why you're overeating, then you're going to fall off the wagon. You're going to turn to food. You're going to do well for a little bit, and then you'll stop because something happened. And in order to get to the root of what's actually causing the overeating, we need to be able to look under the hood. And this is one tool that we can use it to find out what it is that we actually need. Writing it down, looking at it, not in your head, but looking at it from paper to pen, like reading it, and then being able to say, oh, I was stressed. Well, then how do you solve stress? Taking action, usually making a decision. Oh, I was feeling lonely. Okay, what can I do to not feel lonely? Is make a connection, right? Go call somebody or pet a cat, whatever it is. And so, what is it that you're trying to avoid? And what emotion is involved? And how can you fill that void, that emotion, that thing? And sometimes, if it's avoidance, again, of stress and anxiety and that thing, a lot of times it's just stop thinking so much about that thing and start taking action. And that will solve the problem, because we overthink. And I know that to be a fact because every day I'm like, I should actually like get on and record something, but I don't, because I overthink. And if I overthink, then it stresses me out, and it's easier to just not push the record button than to push the record button. But who is that serving? Nobody, right? It's just here in my head instead of out helping you. So I'm going to take my own advice, and I'm also going to encourage you to, if you're on this health journey, to learn what it is that you are avoiding or filling up, trying to buffer in order with the food. And so that is today. And that's my training. And I love you guys. I hope this comes in handy, and start to look under the hood about if you're overeating or binge watching. I binge watch when I avoid. What is it that you need? What is it that you're avoiding? What is it that you're trying to fill that need with food? All right. And I will talk to you later. Bye.